The daughter who buried her father beneath the basement floor, the Dana Jennings case, the disappearance. It was December 2018 in a quiet suburban neighborhood of Colorado when police received a troubling call. William Musach's son had grown increasingly worried. He hadn't spoken to his father in weeks. Texts went unanswered, calls went straight to voicemail. Something felt off. So he asked for a welfare check at his father's home. When officers arrived, the small gray house looked ordinary from the outside, but inside, a strange story was about to unfold. The door opened to reveal Dana Jennings, William's daughter, who had recently moved in with him a few months prior. Her demeanor was oddly casual. "Hi," she said, leaning on the doorframe. "Where's your dad?" one officer asked. "I'm not sure," Dana replied. "He only comes by every couple of weeks. He's been spending time up in the mountains with his girlfriend." Her words came quick and unsteady. She rambled about a broken foot, a backed-up toilet, and her cousin trying to narrow down the mountain property. Officers found it strange. No one in the family knew about a girlfriend or any mountain cabin. When police asked to come inside, Dana hesitated, then finally said, "It's a mess, but okay." The moment the officer stepped through the door, an overpowering putrid smell hit him. Dana quickly explained, "Sorry about the odor. The toilet overflowed in the basement. I've been trying to clean it up." But the stench was unlike sewage. It was heavier, unmistakably foul, something decaying. Inside, the house was cluttered, clothes and boxes stacked high, half-eaten food on tables, newspapers layered across the floor. The officer noted that William's cell phone was sitting on the counter, charging. His vehicles were still parked in the driveway. Yet his daughter claimed he had gone away weeks ago. That detail changed Eve. Everything. Why would a man vanish without his phone, car, or wallet? After a brief search of the main floor, police found no sign of William. Dana appeared anxious but unconcerned. "He's done this before," she insisted. "He just needs space sometimes." The officer completed a quick sweep, made notes of the condition of the home, and filed a missing person report. But as he left, he couldn't shake the feeling that something inside that house was terribly wrong. In the following days, investigators began digging deeper. William's brother and son visited the police department with a disturbing piece of evidence: text messages from William's phone. In one message, William mentioned that Dana had brought him a burger, and after eating it, he slept for 15 hours. Later, he told his son he suspected Dana might be poisoning him. Despite the gravity of this clue, there wasn't yet enough probable cause for a search warrant. The police watched and waited, hoping William would turn up safe. But as weeks passed and no trace of him appeared, the uneasy feeling grew into certainty. This was no disappearance. By January 20, officers finally secured a warrant to search the property. Before entering, they escorted Dana to the station for questioning. Her behavior there would raise even more red flags, and what police discovered beneath the basement floor would shock everyone. The basement discovery. As officers prepared to search the Musach residence, Dana Jennings was already on her way to the police station. Detectives wanted to question her while the search team combed through the house. From the moment she sat down in the interrogation room, her demeanor puzzled them. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't angry. She was detached. "We just want to figure out where your dad is," one detective told her calmly. "I understand," Dana replied, almost too casually. "He probably just..." T took off again. "He's been doing that a lot lately." She went on to describe her father as miserable, burned out, and wanting to get away from responsibility. She even suggested he might be spending time with a younger woman. But when the detective asked basic questions, where he'd gone, who the girlfriend was, or why he'd left his phone and vehicles behind, her answers shifted each time. Meanwhile, back at the house, officers descended the creaking stairs to the basement. It was dark, damp, and chaotic. Piles of clothing, broken furniture, old magazines, all scattered in random stacks. But the smell down there was much stronger. "This isn't sewage," one officer muttered. "It's something dead," another replied quietly. As flashlights swept the concrete floor, one investigator noticed a section of wall that didn't look right. It appeared recently built, fresh drywall, slightly misaligned. Behind it, the floor looked uneven, covered in a patch of newly poured cement. They called in the crime scene team. Back at the police station, detectives subtly pressed Dana again. "You mentioned a basement issue," one said. "What happened down there?" "Just plumbing," she replied. "Toilet overflowed. I've been cleaning it up myself." When asked why the entire basement reeked of decomposition, Dana didn't flinch. "It's probably still sewage. I've been trying to get the smell out." But the detectives knew better. The human nose never forgets that scent. While Dana continued her calm explanation, a message buzzed on the detective's phone. He glanced down and froze. Text from the search team. "We found something under the concrete." Moments later, in the basement, investigators carefully broke through the hardened cement. As chunks of gray dust fell away, the outline of a human body slowly appeared beneath the surface. The discovery stopped everyone cold. The remains were decomposed, beyond recognition, but still dressed, wrapped in a blanket, buried shallowly beneath just a few inches of concrete. It didn't take long to confirm it would be as William Musach. Back in the interrogation room, Dana was still talking, unaware of what had been found. "He comes and goes," she said. "Sometimes I leave money for him, and when I wake up, it's gone. So, I know he's been by." The detective interrupted. "Dana," he said quietly, "your house smells like death." She blinked. "I don't know why." "I've worked homicide for years," the detective said. "That smell, it's not sewage, it's decomposition." Dana didn't respond. She folded her arms, looked away, and said softly, "I haven't seen any body." The detective leaned closer. "We've found new concrete poured in your basement," he said. "Can you explain that?" She stammered. "My dad was doing repairs. I helped a little. I was trying to smooth it out." Her words cracked mid-sentence. The detective sighed, looked at her, and said what everyone already knew. "Dana, we found a body in your house." For a moment, she sat still, then quietly said, "I guess this is where I need a lawyer." She was immediately placed under arrest for concealing a dead body. When the forensic team completed their analysis, the truth became even darker. William hadn't died of natural causes. Toxicology reports revealed a lethal dose of horse sedatives in his system, drugs that were traced back to an eBay order placed from Dana's computer. She had poisoned her father, waited for him to die, and buried him beneath the basement floor. It was premeditated, cold, calculated. Investigators concluded that she continued to forge his checks and withdraw money while pretending he was still alive. What began as a welfare check ended as one of the most chilling parricide cases Colorado had ever seen. The confession and the sentence. When detectives told Dana Jennings that a body had been found beneath the concrete in her basement, her composure finally cracked. For hours, she had maintained a calm, detached demeanor, talking about her father as if he were simply out of town. But once she realized they'd discovered what was hidden beneath her home, her mask began to slip. "We found a body in your house," the detective repeated. "You need to stand up," another said. "You're under arrest for concealing a dead body." Dana didn't resist. She looked dazed, like the walls around her were closing in. As officers placed her in handcuffs, the camera in the interrogation room kept rolling, capturing the moment the truth could no longer be denied. The investigation unfolds. In the days that followed, forensic teams worked around the clock. Autopsy results confirm what many had suspected. William Musach hadn't died naturally. He had been poisoned. Toxicology revealed high levels of xylazine, a powerful horse sedative, in his system. The dosage was lethal. Detectives began searching Dana's digital records, and that's when they uncovered damning evidence. She had ordered the drug online, just days before her father's death. Investigators also found forged checks and withdrawals from William's bank account, all signed in handwriting that matched Dana's. It was clear she'd been using his identity to pay her bills and sustain herself after his death. Detectives believed that when William began to suspect something was wrong with his food, perhaps realizing the sedatives were making him sick, he texted his son, writing that Dana might be poisoning him. Those would be the last messages he ever sent. The motive. Prosecutors later revealed that Dana had been financially dependent on her father. When he threatened to cut her off, or possibly move out and sell the house, she panicked. They argued often. Neighbors recalled hearing loud shouting from the house at night, and then one day, the shouting stopped. Detectives theorized that on the night of December 9th, 2018, Dana prepared a meal for her father, laced it with horse sedatives, and watched as he fell asleep, just as he had described in his final texts. When he didn't wake up, she panicked. Instead, Of calling for help, she decided to hide his body. With a broken foot and no equipment, she managed to drag his remains into the basement, cover them with blankets, and later pour a thin layer of cement over the grave. For weeks, she lived above it, eating, sleeping, pretending everything was normal. The trial. In 2020, after months of delays and psychological evaluations, Dana Jennings stood trial for first-degree murder. Her defense team argued that William's death had been accidental, that she only meant to sedate him, not kill him. But the evidence was overwhelming. The online purchase of xylazine, the forged bank withdrawals, the concrete burial, the conflicting stories she told to family and police. When the verdict was read, the courtroom fell silent. Guilty, first-degree murder. Dana showed little emotion as the judge sentenced her to life in prison without parole. Aftermath. For investigators, the case became a haunting example of how quickly deception can turn deadly. What began as a welfare check, a simple call to make sure a man was safe, ended in one of the most disturbing discoveries the small community had ever seen. Neighbors still recall the day police tore through that quiet suburban home, carrying out bags of evidence. To this day, many wonder if Dana ever felt remorse, or if she truly believed she could hide what she'd done beneath a few inches of concrete. She said it was just sewage. But what really filled that basement was the truth. And the truth, no matter how deep you bury it, always finds a way back to the surface.